Good morning and welcome back to Raven Rants. This is your girl Raven, a serial poet, coming to bring to y'all another random rant. So, as y'all know, Thanksgiving just passed by, and for some, it could be, it could go either way. You could either have a good Thanksgiving or a bad one, depending on your environment. Now, for me, it started off rocky because, of course, I want to say the devil was trying to knock me off my square. But luckily for me, of course, I entertained it for a split second, but I was reminded by people that love me the most that, some things are not warranted a response. And once they reminded me of that, I was fine. I was a-okay. I've come to the realization that sometimes some things are better left dead and buried. And what I mean with that is, sometimes you hold on to expectations. Sometimes you want things to work out so bad to where you would mentally and physically push yourself to imagine or daydream or fantasize of what could and should be, ignoring the fact that sometimes what we dream about most could ultimately be a nightmare. And I had to make peace with that. It's like so much I be trying to hold on to. Like, I'm the type of person, I love happy endings. Not the ones that you get at a massage parlor, but genuine happy endings to where, we may have a disagreement, but at the end of the disagreement, everything is peaches and cream. Forgetting the fact that some people are not like that. Everybody is not like me. I'm the type of person to where it's like, yeah, take your accountability. I'm gonna take my accountability. Okay, let's go have a drink or whatever. It's okay. Some people aren't like that. Some people are vindictive. Some people are very gaslighting, very narcissist, very manipulative. But I've come to realize that only I give people permission to treat me in a negative way. And at the age of 41, I relinquished that control. Access is denied. If you feel some type of way about me, if you think some way about me that is negative, that is no longer my business nor my concern. The only thing my concern is, and is my business, is my actual business that I run. Between writing poetry books and making sure that me and my team get it together to where it goes out and it's the way that I want it to be. Because one thing I've realized in my life, that I do a lot of stuff that people would expect me to do. But that phase of my life is definitely over. I'm not going to sit up there and be like, oh, well, I know you would like it if I did it like this, or I know you would like it if I say it like this. I'm no longer feeding into that. That's just like I had somebody, because I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't. But when you're nasty with it or disrespectful, then I have to basically, call you out on it. So, one of my friends got one of my books. She went and ordered it or whatever. And she was like, Oh my God, I love your erotic books. And I also love, Rising from the Ashes. But she was like, can I ask you a question and you don't take offense? And normally when people say that, you normally jump on the offense anyway, because you're like, okay, they're going to end up saying some stuff and you're not going to be ready for it. So I was like, okay, go ahead. I'm ready. So she was like, in your erotic book, is it real life accounts or is it something that's fiction? And I was like, it's 50-50. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what seems to be the problem? Now, mind you, she is as straight as a stick pin. So I think the only thing that she could pretty much bring up was the fact that it was a lot of girl on girl notions, even though she read it with, her husband in mind. But I guess now that she knows, or it's been confirmed that it is lesbian content, now she's looking at me different. She's looking at me like, oh my God, like, how could you write that in a book? Like, that's kind of personal. And I had to inform her and I had to let her know. I'm like, the same way people put things on TV or in songs or what have you, it's the same way I do with my poetry books. It's all entertainment. I'm like, when you read what I write, then it's in a frame of mind to where you don't have no choice but to take it at its face value. That's just like when you read a novel. You're not gonna read it the way it's, let's go backwards. You're not gonna read it in the context of what the original author probably meant for it to be. You're gonna read it in your own frame of mind, your own way of thinking, your own way of imagining what's going on. So she was like, well, thank you for clearing that up for me. I hope I didn't offend you. It's like, whether you meant to offend me or not, I'm not offended, because, the whole main premise of everything is I like to make sure that people are entertained when they read what I put out. And, I understand not everybody gonna like my content. But considering each month the royalties that I have been receiving, is quite a few of my friends or non-friends that enjoy my content. And I have to say that, I'm happy about it. But anyway, I done got sidetracked. But yeah, Thanksgiving was one of those things where I literally spent the day cooking. The day before and the day, Thanksgiving Day, I spent cooking. And the way I cooked, you would have swore it was like a lot of people coming. But I think that's because I was stuck in the mentality of family dinners, huddling around the table and everybody, pass the peas, pass the mashed potatoes, pass this, pass that. And in my head, I see that because that's what I was raised on. And the fact that, I went from being raised on that to, now it's just me, my friend, and my daughter. It's amazing how things change over the years. But one thing I can say is I'm kind of happy about it, because one thing about family, a family could be full of snakes and you be the one mouse at the table. Because looking back, on family gatherings and things like that, it's like they was like the biggest fake, phony posers that I ever seen in my life. I'm like, y'all sitting across from each other, but just the other day you was talking mess about her. She was talking mess about him. Like, you slept with this person's husband or wife or whatever the case may be. But here we are at Thanksgiving, giving thanks for what? This year I was able to give thanks about the fact that I have came a long way. I'm mature. I'm in a space in my life to where if you can't bring substance to my life, I have no use for you. And it's like, no matter how much, I could try to befriend somebody, because I'm big on giving chances. And it's like, if I know we haven't fell out because of something malicious, of course, I'll give you another chance. We can build a friendship or whatever the case may be. But then it's that small amount or a handful of people that I would never, ever, 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 that have access to me. And that's only because if I done told them something, or if I tell you something, and now that we're no longer friends, a person come back and be like, oh, well, I didn't know you was going through this during this time. I didn't know this about you. This, that, and the other. And you're the only one that I told this, but now miraculously we're no longer associated with each other. People that I don't even mess with know my business. Yeah. You would no longer or ever have access to me ever again. But I pray that everybody that had Thanksgiving alone, or even if you were surrounded by people that you don't even care to be dealing with because they family, I hope that you made it through Thanksgiving without having the notion or the need to want to run somebody over. So, that's important. You never let somebody make you step off of your throne to address them, because 9 times out of 10 it's probably not even worth the time nor the energy. Now we're embarking upon Christmas and New Year's Eve and the end of the era of the 2021. Honestly, I think this is just a sequel of last year. And of course, I know each year is a sequel of the year before, whatever. I get that. But what I mean is, last year, we was in the pandemic. Everybody, it's COVID this, COVID that, COVID. This year, we had to deal with vaccines and the Delta variant and all this type of stuff. Now, miraculously, which I don't think it's a coincidence, I think it's the government doing some extra shit for no reason. But now, all of a sudden, we're dealing with this Omicron, Demicron, Octagon, whatever the doggone thing is. Now, I bet you 9 times out of 10, and you mark my words, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, oh, you have to take a vaccine for this, but it's no guarantee that it's gonna keep you from catching it, just like they did with COVID. At this point, the government is enjoying creating this havoc, this panic. Because as long as people are panicked, they're going to spend money on all this stuff, which pretty much is going to the government. It's like I've never seen people buy a lot of unnecessary stuff, and it has nothing to do with what's going on. Like, what's the purpose of buying all the water? The only thing I could see is why people would buy all the water is because, okay, the hurricane come, blah, blah, blah. But now I have a problem with that too. Because if the hurricane comes, the powers get knocked out and stuff like that, and people like buy bottled water, right? So because the power is off, your water don't work? And I know that might be an ignorant question, and it's probably a very valid reason of why it probably do not work. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. If the lights is out, okay, I understand it will probably affect the hot water. Okay, got that. But if it's just regular cold tap water, the power should not affect that. Therefore, you're buying bottled water for what? I don't get it. And maybe it's not meant for me to get, or maybe one day it will resonate with me. But right now, you have water. You just don't have hot water. So, I don't get it. But, y'all, and this doggone Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or whatever else they gonna have heading up to Christmas, y'all are crazy. Because y'all buying all these materialistic things. Granted, I know it's, if you work hard and stuff like that, you deserve to get what you want. But I'm going to tell you something that my big mama used to tell me all the time. You can't take it with you. So you pretty much trampling over people, assaulting people for the last 75-inch TV or whatever. And on the way home, you could easily die and kill over. Then what's going to happen to the TV then? Y'all are too stuck on materialistic things. This past year has taught me a lot, and it has taught me that materialistic things don't matter. I could understand, like, if it has sentimental value or whatever the case may be, but other than that, like, why are y'all going crazy behind this stuff? Cars, jewelry, shoes, clothes, and things like that, just for it to still be here. Something happened to you, it's still gonna be here. Like, what was the reason? Like Cardi B say, what was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason? And what is the reason? Somewhere along the lines, y'all have lost y'all way. And it's okay. It happens. But one thing I need y'all to really stop, slow down, and think about is you work to put shelter, to shelter yourself, and to put food in your mouth, and if you have a car, to put gas in your car. But buying all this unnecessary stuff that pretty much have no meaning, it'll be gone tomorrow if something happens to you. Or you pretty much collecting things to where your family would have something to argue over. especially if you don't have no will. So, y'all need to slow down. And honestly, I want to say the final thing that I want to touch bases on is the fact that this world is ghetto. And that's with a capital G. Anytime that anybody is bold enough to rob, kill, shoot, or whatever somebody in broad daylight, y'all are losing y'all minds. Anytime that child can sit up there and run into a name brand store and snatch stuff off of shelves, I guess to sell or to give to whoever for a Christmas gift, y'all has lost y'all mind. Y'all have lost y'all mind. Anytime we still have to worry about school shootings, you definitely have lost your mind. Every time I get on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, because I don't watch the news anymore. It's too depressing and it stresses me out. Whatever's gonna happen in life is gonna happen. I really don't care. But yeah, this world is going bananas. The justice system sucks. Of course, they keep saying that America is broke, but I'm still trying to figure out why are we broke and we print our own money? How the hell does that work? Somebody in the government building is on crack and they're not thinking properly. But y'all don't get it. People are still being hung from trees. Black girls and boys are still missing from this world, and I don't know whether they have been snatched to be killed for their organs or snatched to be, sex trafficked or whatever the case may be. But the fact that Lil Becky goes missing around the same day that Latasha goes missing, and the only picture we see on the news is Lil Becky, I have a problem with that. I have a major problem with that. And then they find them, and then as of late, a few black girls who go missing, they've been turning up because they either ran away from home or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, it's a good chunk of people that are unaccounted for. And we're not going to even talk about indigenous people, the people that rightfully own this land, but they can't even get no peace. I swear. And I'm going to say this before I jump out. If you sit there and you see a person of color is being wronged and you don't do anything to step in or interject or whatever the case may be, you are just as worse as the person that's doing it. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, if I get involved and they shoot me, then what was going to be the purpose? If that's the first thing you think about is, oh, I could get shot and killed. If that's the first thing you think about, then you think about the wrong thing. Because there are smart ways of interjecting and interceding any type of crime. But of course, when you're privileged and you're descendants of Mount the Caucasus, of course you would probably say, oh, well, I would, but I can't, and da-da-da-da, excuses. And that's why when I think about, the holidays, when I think about the robberies, the killings. The world is just ghetto. Ghetto as hell. So ghetto to where if aliens do exist, and I know they do exist, I'm to the point now, I'm like, beam me up, Scotty, because I'm tired of being here. It is too much. Take me to my planet. Whatever, planet that I need to go to. Because, yeah, this is ridiculous at this point. We sat up there and voted for Joe Biden to get into office just for him to do the same dumb shit that Donald Trump did. The only difference is Joe speaks with common sense and understanding, and Donald Trump was pretty much literally a 3-4-year-old trying to run a country with crayons and coloring books. Like, we're never gonna win as a country. Anytime they have other countries making infomercials about us being third world hungry, that should be an issue. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we solve all these issues? Because from 2020 to now, the homeless statistics done went up. The hunger statistics done went up. Why? Because people lost their jobs, couldn't pay rent. Then as soon as they gave the landlords the okay to kick them out, there go another person that's homeless. There's another kid in the foster care system. It's like y'all running around this holiday season trying to find the perfect Louis bag, the perfect Gucci bag, the perfect name brand whatever, and people don't even know what they're gonna eat the next day, where they gonna sleep, or they gonna end up getting killed on the street because they have predators that's watching their every move, and the moment that they weak enough, then that's another dead body found in an alley in a dumpster somewhere. I'm so sick of people. I'm so sick of crying because a mom have to bury their kids. I'm so sick of this COVID. I'm sick of everything. So that's why I laugh when people ask me, okay, you're a Virgo, so can I ask you a question? Why does everything annoy you? Because people are stupid. They're ignorant. They hold grudges for no reason. They're malicious and vindictive for no reason. And then by the time they sit up there and do and say everything that they probably didn't mean to do or say, the damage has been done, and now you're trying to figure out how to undo it. And miraculous, well, I don't know how to undo it. I don't know how to make it right. And yet you do. You know how to make it right. I need for people to take accountability for everything that they do. Because at this point, yeah, we're pointing fingers and things like that. But when we know the real reasoning behind everything, then we could no longer point fingers. It's gonna be a blind death match of taking accountability. So anyway, I'm done with this rant. I don't want to start talking in circles, or I know this is Raven Rants, but jeez, no talking in circles. That's annoying. But I'm gonna leave y'all with my thought of the morning. And my thought of the morning is this: it takes nothing but a second to be a good human being. But it takes a lifetime for karma to attach itself onto you, and every night thinking, how did I get here? If you have to ask that question, I need for you to go back to page 1 on how to be a decent human being. So with that being said, love, peace, and blessings. Pray before you lay. I love y'all, and good night.